The handcuffs clicked in the supermarket, and all she wanted was to buy a bag of rice. My mother just wanted to cook rice and beans that afternoon. It was a scorching Monday, not unlike others, and I was sitting in my law office reviewing a case file when the phone rang. But before that phone call, before the humiliation swept through social media, my mother had only one goal: to shop for groceries. As always, she left early. Purse over her shoulder, slippers on her feet, the quiet poise of someone who had weathered storms. She headed to Value Market, the store with the best rice prices. Retired and frugal, she knew every cent counted. She entered the store with a soft nod to the security guard, grabbed a card, and made her way to the grain aisle. It was the end of the month, and the store buzzed with activity carts jostling, babies crying, the local radio humming through ceiling speakers. Then everything shifted. Witnesses later said the confrontation was swift. A store employee whispered to security, who then radioed for police. Moments later, 2 officers strode in. One walked directly to my mother. No introduction. No request for ID. Just open that bag now. My mother froze, attempting to explain she was a regular, that she lived down the street and even knew the manager by sight. But her voice was barely above a whisper. The officer moved closer and raised his tone. Are you going to cooperate or make this difficult? Tears welled in her eyes. The manager arrived, a tall white man with an air of practiced authority. This woman's been seen here before. Always looks suspicious. Today she tried to leave with 2 bags of rice without paying. That was a lie. Her modest cloth bag couldn't even fit 2 bags of rice. She held one in her hand, the receipt folded neatly in her blouse. But no one cared. Phones came out. A woman shouted from the meat section. She didn't do anything. The officer didn't flinch. He pulled out the cuffs. My mother, voice trembling, said, "Please, I'm a retired teacher. This is a mistake." The clicking of the handcuffs muffled her dignity. She was led away like a criminal. Her purse fell, spilling a comb, her ID, and a photo of me in my high school uniform. I'm her only child. A young man nearby protested, saying she had taught his aunt and that this was clearly racism. The officer told him to step back. Minutes later, the phone rang. It was our neighbor, Mrs. Dawson. "Elliot, your mom's been arrested at Value Market." I bolted out the door, heart pounding, hands shaking. I've been a public defender for 7 years. I've seen miscarriages of justice, but nothing readied me for seeing my own mother seated at a precinct bench, face swollen from crying, wrists bruised from cuffs. An officer was taking her statement without looking at her. When she saw me, her lips quivered. "Elliot," that single word broke me. In that moment, I grasped the depth of powerlessness experienced by so many. No matter her background, her contributions, her age, or her demeanor, my mother was nothing more than a suspect to them. They didn't know her. Her name was Gloria DaCosta. She was born in the favelas of Rio de Janeiro and had spent her life fighting for recognition in places that never welcomed her. Daughter of a laundress and a mason, she was the first to graduate high school in her family. She earned her teaching credentials at night while tutoring children and looking after her younger siblings during the day. She taught for 35 years in a public school system plagued by overcrowding and low wages. She believed education was more than books, it was protection. She protected generations. But no one protected her that day. After retirement, her routine slowed. She rose later, made black coffee, listened to NPR, and kept active by volunteering at the library and coordinating book donations. That Monday, she had intended only to buy a bag of rice and pick up her blood pressure meds. She dressed simply, in the same floral print dress she once wore to parent-teacher meetings, tied her silver-streaked hair back, and left the house with a crumpled shopping list. Value Market had concrete floors, humming fans, high shelves. It was a neighborhood staple. She headed straight to the grains. A young white security guard trailed her, murmuring into his walkie-talkie. The cashier, who recognized my mother from previous visits, attempted to intervene, but the system was already in motion. They hadn't even let her reach checkout. A police officer barked, "Show me your bag." She tried to say she hadn't paid yet. The manager accused her. She's done this before. Caught her red-handed. The officer didn't question him. They opened her bag, only a $10 bill, her ID, a prescription note, and a butterscotch candy. Still, they cuffed her. Shame reddened her face. Her body trembled. Not one person asked her side. The color of her skin, her humble dress, her ageat all worked against her. She wasn't seen as someone's mother, someone's teacher. She was seen as a problem. Outside, a crowd formed. "Is that Mrs. DaCosta?" "She helped me pass math," a young woman said. Another pleaded with the officers, but protocol, they claimed, left no room for mercy. Protocol became the shield for prejudice. As my mother tried to tug her blouse over the marks left by the cuffs, her eyes searched the crowd for comfort. All she found was a cell phone camera and a silent onlooker. The precinct was suffocating. The officer interviewing her looked anywhere but at her. She kept saying, "Just rice. I only wanted rice." When I arrived, she sat hunched, head bowed. This woman who had given so much, who had stood tall in so many battles, now looked small. The officer glanced at me. Before he could speak, I pulled out my badge. Public defender. "That woman is my mother." The tone of the room shifted. "We didn't know, ma'am," the officer said. "Should she have been my mother for you to treat her decently?" He went silent. I knelt before her, took her hands, still shaking. "Elliot, I just want to buy rice." Her voice was the sound of someone whose spirit had been tested one time, too many. I demanded the report. It hadn't even been started. They were waiting on the manager. Then we wait. Together. In the corner stood the same security guard, phone in hand, laughing. His smirk said it all. Nothing would happen to him. "Do you have a name, sir?" "Yes, ma'am. I also have camera footage." "Then let's watch it." He fumbled, saying the manager had it. Minutes later, the manager strolled in. He greeted me with a fake smile. I cut him off. "Show me the video." He opened his laptop. There she was, my mother, walking in, picking up a bag of rice, heading toward checkout. No theft, no concealment, no suspicious behavior. I looked him in the eye. He looked down. "It was a misunderstanding," he said. My mother lifted her head at those words. A misunderstanding. As if that explained the bruises, the humiliation. It wasn't a mistake. It was a pattern born of prejudice. A system that criminalizes skin color, poverty, and age all at once. I turned to the officer. "Protocol, right? What was protocol for this?" He had no answer. My mother cried again, quietly. The kind of cry you hear from someone who survived long enough to know when fighting won't change the outcome. So I did what I never thought I'd do. I turned on my phone and began recording. Not for viral fame, not for vengeance, but to make sure she was finally seen.